American public doesn't really understand that. We don't get the fact that this has always been a Chinese state and they're going back to a totalitarian state. In fact, we see the opposite. During the Clinton administration, I think the shift began to happen where we saw China more as an opportunity than an adversary. Can you share what happened with the Clinton
Well,
years?
what happened and this is, let's go back to Nixon. Nixon, by going to Beijing in 1972, we, of course, were listing China in the Cold War, and I understand that. But we also rescued Chinese communism because this was at the end of the Cultural Revolution. China was in a just civil war. And essentially, like Nixon going there and reaffirming or affirming an American commitment actually buttressed the Chinese communist system. Well, go to Clinton, 1999, we rescued Chinese communism again. We did that with our agreement, which paved the way for China's entry into the World Trade Organization, and that occurred at the December 2001. This was a time when the Chinese economy was having real trouble, foreign investors were shunning China, and there were a number of other developments going on. And again, we rescued Chinese communism. So this is something that we shouldn't be doing. And the reason why this is important is because we rescued communism one more time. That was after the Tiananmen Square massacre 30 years ago this year. And now China is again at one of those critical points where its economy is crumbling. And I hope we do not rescue China with a trade deal. So this is important for us because we're at one of those hinge moments of history.
Well, let's talk about the hinge moments in history. In 1999, the Clinton administration gets very friendly with China. We see all of these contributions coming into Clinton's campaign through Charlie Tree, the Little Rock restaurant entrepreneur. We see congressional committees in the Senate calling them out. They're illegal. You have to send the money back. But nevertheless, they seemed very tight with the Clinton administration. At the same time, they were publishing this book in the People's Liberation Army, Unrestricted Warfare, which we talk about it a lot.
That's something else that we ignored. This is an important book because it lays out the way the Chinese officer corps views the United States. And the reason why this is important, Kevin, is that twice in December, you had senior Chinese military officers in public urge unprovoked attacks on the U.S. Navy and the global commons. And in the second of those outbursts, a Chinese rear admiral actually advocated sinking 2 aircraft carriers and killing 10,000 Americans. So that view, which is in this book, has been carried forward to China's current officers, and we are not paying attention to what the Chinese are saying.
Now, if an American officer suggested that we sink Chinese ships, that American officer would be immediately called out and demoted or removed in some way. But they maintained their position, which means that the Communist Party was comfortable with that kind of rhetoric?
Yeah, these guys who wrote this book, colonels at the time, generals now.